Well, my name is Cameron. I'm the general manager here. Thank you guys for coming for our 30-year celebration. First, I think to know where we've come from, Dale started Crossroads 30 years ago, back before health clubs were even a big thing yet. So, Dale, I would like you to come on up and kind of tell us where we've been.
Tell where we're going. Wow, 30 years. I look out here and I see so many faces that I recognize, and all the relationships that we've built over the years. It's unbelievable. 30 years ago, we didn't know what journey that we were about to embark upon, and it was probably a good idea that we didn't. 1986. It was challenging times in Grand Junction, Colorado. Unemployment was high. The economy was flat, to say the least, and we had many challenges in the Grand Valley. We were just at the bottom of the recession that in May of '86. That was the bottom, and we started coming up from there, from recovering from Black Sunday. And this is when we decided to buy Crossroads Nautilus, a business that was headed to bankruptcy. My wife and I, we'd been members at Crossroads Nautilus for 2 weeks, and they had a town meeting. And what's really ironic is that town meeting was held in this room. And this room was packed full of people. It was a Thursday night. I don't know why I remember that, but it was a Thursday night. And there was weight equipment over here on this side. And it was really, really heated that evening. And there was a lot of tension that was in that room. And at the end of the evening, when people were speaking their mind, I pointed out to the owner that I thought there was a couple things that he could do to make this a better establishment. Went home, went to bed, didn't think anything of it. The next morning, my phone rang, and it was Bob Schaefer, the owner, and he said, "Are you the man that made these suggestions last night?" And I said, "I am." And he said, "Well, can you put your money where your mouth is?" Now, and it's funny because you have to realize that we knew absolutely nothing about running a health club. Absolutely nothing. But the negotiations started, and we began our journey. Now, this is where I learned and discovered the first important part about business: luck. We really, it was May was the absolute bottom on any economic chart that you look at, and so we started growing as a community. Now, after we got done negotiating, we came into our very first obstacle, which we officially bought Crossroads on May 6th. But obviously, public service didn't get that memo. And on the afternoon of May 6th, they shut off the power. And you can't make this stuff up. It's really true. So we went to see public service. Didn't think it would be any big deal to get the power turned back on. And they said, "Well, you can pay." They said, "We can give you two options. Option number one is that you can take and pay all the past utility bills. Or option two is you can come up with a 3-month deposit, which you'll receive back in 18 months, and we'll turn back on the power." So, and choosing option two was what we chose, and it used up all our cash flow that we had saved up. But so we officially opened on May 10th of 1986. And so it began. Now you have to remember, we were 7,800 square feet, 1/5 the size that we are today. There was no upstairs. There was no racquetball courts. There was no downtown. And there was no back parking lot. let alone, there were no words like step, spin, elliptical trainer, Group X, let alone P90X, TRX, slam balls, kettlebells, core strength training. Yeah, Zumba. Internet. The next 2 years, we worked and focused on learning the health club business and growing. I'll tell you what, we kept our eye on the target. We worked and worked. So, and then after 2 years, we kept growing, and we reached our first dilemma, which was that we were outgrowing the space that we were in. And this was truly a dilemma because we didn't know what to do. Which brings me to another point. Neil called on I think it was a Wednesday night, and he said, "You need to come up here right now. It's really important. I found an elevator key." And
I remember that so clearly for some reason. And for a lot of you that don't know, I am Dale's youngest son. So I grew up in the business, and I was about 9 years old when that call from Neil came in, and I remember Neil's excitement on the other end of the lines saying, "I found this elevator key." You know, I didn't have any idea, but my dad asked me, he said, "Hey, do you boys, my brother and I you guys want to come up and check out this elevator, this Discovery?" And of course, you know, we're kids, and we're like, yeah, we want to go check out an elevator. So my brother and I, my dad drove a Scout International 2. It was baby blue. We lived over in Paradise Hills. We drove that over here. Came into the building. We were going into an area that we had never seen before, and believe it or not, they didn't know the upstairs because there wasn't a stairwell, or the entrance was over to the north, so they didn't know there was an elevator in the building. But I remember so clearly that going in that elevator and that door dinging at the top, it opening, and there were just hundreds and hundreds of the steel studs, because they had abandoned the building back when the crash of the early 80s, and they were going to make all that office space. So there was carpet rolled up off to the side, concrete floors, and just hundreds and hundreds of steel studs. So it was a playground for my brother and I. We were weaving in and out of the steel studs, but we were like kids in a candy store, but so were Dale and Neil, because they discovered this square footage that with the growth of their business. So a couple hours went by, and then my mom actually had to come pick my brother and I up because Dale and Neil were just brainstorming. And I know they were up all night because the next morning they were actually at the kitchen table, and they had plans all over, and they were still up the next morning when my brother and I were going to go to school, and their eyes were all bloodshot. So he talks about luck. I mean, there you go. We had square footage right in the building. So, you know, growing up in the health club business, I have so many great memories. It's been a fun business to grow up in, being around all of you guys. And I have one other quick story that I wanted to share with you guys, because a lot of you do know that I grew up in the health club business, but I don't know if you knew that I actually had my own business inside of Crossroads. So in 1986, I was 7 years old, and my brother was 9, and my brother and I were contracted to do the towel service. So at this time, you know, I wasn't even old enough or tall enough to look over the counter. I used to have to put my feet on the crown molding on the bottom and grab the top of the counter to look over the counter to talk to the front desk people. But I remember we had these 2 blue nylon bags, and we'd ride our bikes because we lived over in Paradise Hills. We'd ride our bikes over here, stuff the bags full of these dirty towels, ride them back home, wash them, and then fold them, pack them back into the bags, and then ride them back. So, you know, riding on that canal road right behind us here. And, you know, back at that time, we did 2 trips a week, so about 6 towels per bag. So we did about 24 towels a week in here. And I know now we do like 24 towels before 9 o'clock. But we got paid about 10 cents a towel. at the time, and you know, these were tough times back in the early 80s. So, but you know, my brother and I, we knew that we had to make a little bit more money. I mean, this wasn't my full-time job. My full-time job, I went to elementary school. So I think it was like it was a 2-week summer vacation that we went on as a family, and I think Crossroads finally discovered that it would be a good idea just to buy their own washer and dryer here. So my brother and I, we went out of business within the first year, and then we tried to liquidate all our assets, but then discovered we didn't really have any anyways.
Thank you. Anybody that knows us knows that we're about relationships. We really believe in family, community, and business, and they're all interweaved with each other. It's with great pleasure and honor that we have 3 incredible guests today. And I'd like to invite the first one up, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, Diane Swanky.
So as Dale pointed out, he did not pick the optimum time to start a business in Grand Junction. And the reality is sometimes we forget, because I think we kind of get mired down in the current day, but those times were much worse. And so it's a testament to Dale, and he can say luck, but truly, when you take a look at when they started their businesses in this valley, and just the overall statistics in terms of only 1 in 5 businesses makes it to their 5-year anniversary, and we're here celebrating 30 years, which is an incredible testament to the business acumen and the relationships that Dale and his family have built along with this organization. So let's give him a round of applause. So, but it's not just about the business, as Dale alluded to when he was talking about relationships. So this morning, just for the fun of it, we throw around a good corporate citizen in this community a lot, and we have a lot of good corporate citizens, but I actually looked up the definition. And the definition of corporate citizenship is the extent to which a business is socially responsible for meeting their legal, ethical, and economic responsibilities placed on them by the shareholders, or in this case, the residents of Mesa County. And in terms of how we all locally view that, it also has to do with giving back. So let's just take a real quick look at how Crossroads and the Reese family have done that. So economically, with 2 locations and 30 years of continuous employment for people in this valley, they have probably employed literally hundreds of people over that amount of time, which is a testament as well in terms of being a job creator in our community. And the other thing that I think is really key is the nature of their business. When you take a look at where we're at with regard to population and workplace health, which has been a trend that was not around 30 years ago, but is something that we're realizing is increasingly important today. Mesa County has one of the highest obesity rates in any county in Colorado. And Crossroads has been a leader from the very beginning in terms of those relationships and partnerships with things like Rocky Mountain Health Plans and major employer groups in this community in terms of putting together programs that incentivize employees to get out and get fit and actually start to address some of those population health issues. And then let's talk a little bit about giving back. Because in terms of this particular institution, I would challenge any of you who have been to any nonprofit fundraiser that involved a silent auction to have not seen at least one membership to Crossroads. And I think those in and of themselves have probably literally raised over thousands of dollars for the nonprofits in our community. But they don't stop there. Dale and his family have given of their time and are invested in this community. Dale has been a member of the Chamber Board of Directors. He was a founding member of the Horizon Drive Association, and he was the prime and cheerleader in terms of the beautification of the Horizon Drive exit off of I-70. And in addition to that, Paula is now sitting on the Grand Junction Chamber Board. Cameron has been through the Mesa County Leadership Program. These are people who are fully invested in the community, and I think that might be one of the secrets, along with luck, to the fact that they're still here 30 years later. So congratulations to all of you on behalf of the business community and your fellow members in the business, and here's to 30 more years.
It is a pleasure to be here and to be the rose between two thorns. You'll see the other thorn here in a moment. But really, you know, as Dale and Cameron were talking, it reminded me when I was younger and over at Dale's house, and he was bragging about how smart Cameron was. And so he said, watch, we'll have Cameron do some math problems for you. He says to Cameron, okay, Cameron, what's 2 plus 2? Cameron says 6. Dale kind of looks at him and says, okay, 3 plus 3. He goes 8. One more. 5 plus 5, 12. He goes, Cameron, what are we doing? Cameron said, I thought we were negotiating. Which is a good lesson always with Dale, to negotiate. But I think we all recognize that this is truly, and you know, we all do strategic plans, and you come up with all sorts of things in terms of how you're going to engage with the community and why it is that you do business with folks and those sorts of things. But this is a family that really personifies that whole community, family, business. And I challenge you to think about why you come here and why you have a relationship with this business, and not recognize that it's because of the people who own it and run it. And so in all sincerity, the success, not Dale, it's really Paula and Cameron, that we all like to come see. I will tell you that we all know Dale on a number of different fronts. I happen to ride bikes with him periodically. We went on a bike trip this past summer, and I'm riding behind him, and I had to snap a picture and send it to his wife while we're riding, because he had a big hole in his shorts, and I had to send that to Paula and say, would you please buy him new cycling shorts? And then we get to Buena Vista, and he calls and says, do you mind if I come over and have a beer? Because we had different rooms. And I said, certainly. And I wish I could blow you up, because I come out of the shower and I'm dressing, and I turn around to find Dale Reese in a towel sitting in my room. And I was very disturbed by that. So I did take a picture and sent it to Paula and said, really? You let him go out and do these sorts of things? But the other thing I will tell you is, as we started to work on expanding our rec center, and if you think about how you attract students to a campus, I learned from DU that one of the things, they're interested in classrooms, they're certainly interested in faculty, but if you stand on our campus and watch students make a decision to come, it's when they walk into the Hamilton Rec Center and come into that space, and you will hear them more often not say, oh, this is where I'm coming to school, because they're interested where they're going to exercise. And so as we got started down the road of developing what really is a health club, I called Dale Reese and said, Dale, would you mind helping us figure out what kind of equipment and what sort of things? Now, mind you, obviously, if we have a really crappy health club, probably all of our faculty, staff, and students join other health clubs in town. So this is not exactly copacetic in terms of trying to get more business. But the kind of person he is, he stepped right up and said absolutely, and was a wonderful resource for us in terms of what kind of equipment, what kind of programs, you know, sharing instructors back and forth, some of ours over here, some of his over there. We've worked out a collaborative swim membership, just all sorts of things which really are, you know, start out at the front end. A lot of businesses would have said, no, we're not really excited about you doing exactly what you're doing. And so to that, I say, comes this increasingly warm relationship between us and Crossroads and the Reese family. So here's to the next 30 years, and congratulations to you all, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Dale.
So really, when Paula and Cameron called me, you want the little short, fat, bald guy to talk at a deal about Crossroads Fitness? My wife and I are proud members for over 20 years, and I do have some thoughts that I do want to share with you, and some of it goes back to kind of the last things that Dale said about family, community, and business. And so first, let me tell you a little bit about partners. Through my years working at the Partners program, there are two really important things that really hit me working with the young people and their families that I worked with over that 34 years. And one is they all desire a sense of belonging. They all want to be part of a community. They all want to be part of the family. And then secondly is they all want to feel that they can accomplish something, that they're significant, that they're able to do something. And so when I think about it, I look out here and I see John and Harry and all these other people that I have known for years. I first want to just tell you a little story that some of you are going to recognize this guy, Earl Williams, who was a member of the Downtown Club for quite a few years, worked at the Partners Program part-time, working with children that were arrested for underage drinking and marijuana. And he became a member. He asked me where to go, and I said, you go to Crossroads. So he went to the downtown Crossroads and was really happy. And he's originally, his family is in Georgia. Most of them are back east. And he was estranged from his family for a while. And over time, he told me he was going to get back connected to his family. And he did. And before he passed away last September, he had cancer and he moved back and was with his family quite a bit towards the end. But every chance he had, when he got healthy enough, he would come back and he would go downtown and visit his friends. And, well, he said worked out, but I never saw him work out. I saw him talking to people. But, of course, I've been accused of the same thing, but I guess so. But anyway, after he passed away, I just kind of put the word out that anybody interested, we're going to have a little memorial service for Earl. And about 30 people showed up, and we went around the room and we said, how did you know Earl? Crossroads. How do you know Earl? Crossroads. How do you know Earl? Crossroads. So Crossroads was Earl's family, and it was very important to him. And so I just wanted to add that, Dale. I think you're right. It is, a lot of it is about family. Community. As Cameron mentioned, I've known Cameron, well, you probably, maybe 10, yeah, when we both had hair. Well, you had hair. So anyway, Partners does a fundraiser called Superstars, and I think many of you are aware of that fundraiser. An athletic competition, it's really a fundraising competition, every June. And Crossroads is the only team that has never missed a year. They have done it for 30 straight years. And over that time period, they have raised over $150,000 for the Partners Program. So that goes to Diane's point of giving back to the community. And Cameron actually serves on the Partners Board of Directors now. And there's also been a lot of other people. There's been staff and members of Crossroads who have been senior partners. And that's very powerful, because when an organization like this supports a program like Partners, and I talk about community and a sense of belonging, and I talk about kids feeling significant, their support of the work that the Partners Program does helps those young people do feel important and be able to be part of the community and change their behavior for the better. And it is all about changing behavior to some degree. So that kind of brings me to the last story, which is business. And I did not take my health serious. I didn't take it as a serious business for a long time, because what I took as serious was Partners. My whole job was taking care of Partners. So over the last 10 years, I've had blood clots, I've had pulmonary problems, I broke my hip, my right leg's shorter than my left leg, I walk crazy, I have bad balance, all this stuff. So when I did retire last year, my wife and I decided we're going to take Crossroads a little more seriously and go a little more on a regular basis. So particularly the last 8 months, we've been seeing Katie Brady. If you want to work out, go visit Katie Brady. But she does it with love and care. What has really impressed us, and I don't know if she's here or not, I told her what I was going to say today depended on what kind of workout she gave me yesterday. So, but honestly, 8 months ago, I could not run. I couldn't do a squat. I couldn't do a lunge. Yeah. There were a lot of things that, even psychologically, I was afraid to do some physical things. I wouldn't stand on one leg. I'm now doing all that. I went skiing every week this winter with my grandson. I just finished a 5-day hiking trip with Chris Thomason a lot of you guys know him from the Daily Sentinel, photographer, and we found a whole bunch of Indian ruins and petroglyphs. That stuff I couldn't do 8 months ago. So I figured I had to get down to business. I still got a little ways to go, but I'm actually 2 notches in from when I retired a year ago. So I just want to share that because it is about us taking care of ourselves, and the community and the friendship that my wife and I feel here at Crossroads has helped us to do that, and we're getting healthier. And all of you, I look at all these other people. I see some of you guys working out and I go, oh man, you guys really work out. So anyway, it's very impressive because we have an opportunity here at this organization to give back to our community, be part of something bigger than us, to have a sense of belonging, and also to help ourselves be better as well. So thank you to Crossroads for everything that you guys have done, and not another 30 years, let's go 120. I'll just tell you, one of the first times that I met Dale, Greg Marshall was trying to cut your hair off for a fundraiser for Partners, wasn't it? Yeah.
And he was successful with that. You know what? Have we made mistakes? Too numerous to mention. We had victories. Man, we've had some victories. But there's one thing. Every day that I walk in here, and I call them Crossroads magical moments. There hasn't been one day ever that I've walked in here in the 30 years that we've been here that it hasn't happened. A Crossroads magical moment is when you go into a yoga class and there's a certain ambiance and a certain feel, whether it's whether it's a Les Mills class, whether it's a parent dropping off her first child in our nursery so that she can go get her first workout since she's had her child, whether it's somebody with one of our trainers and discovering how to do a push-up. They are so numerous, and they happen every single day around here. And thank you so much for those. I think that one of the basic philosophies that we've always tried to practice is treat people like they're important, because they are. We've had numerous remodels. We did the downtown club, but 2008 is a time that really stands out for me. 3 major events happened in 2008. Neil Bradford, our general manager that we'd had for 22 years, was killed tragically in a bicycle accident. We were in a major economic downturn here in Grand Junction that started in 2008. And the third thing that happened was that we had a major competitor move into the Grand Valley, the first national chain competitor. And they didn't build 1, they built 2. Brand new, sparkling new, 55,000 foot and 45,000 foot facilities. Here was the difficult thing, deciding what was what. I cannot tell you how many sleepless nights I had. And you know, there gets to be those times in your life where you have those moments of truth with yourself, and they're usually in the middle of the night, and you're all alone, and you just got to be totally 100% honest with yourself. And I had a lot of those in 2008. And the first question I had to ask myself was, do we still have a viable product? Obviously we do. But the 2 biggest assets that kept coming to the forefront that were by far exceeded anything else was our membership and all the members, and our staff. And the relationships that we had with both.
And that's what I love about my dad the most. He's so passionate about this business and so passionate about the members here. And we wouldn't be Crossroads if it wasn't for our members, of course. So we want to acknowledge that, and we want to play a little game. So if you have been a member here longer than 5 years, will you please stand up? And if you're in the back, raise your hand. Longer than 5 years.
Longer than 5.
Look at all of you. Wow.
Wow.
If you have been a member longer than 10 years, keep on standing. And if you're in the back, keep your hand up. If you've been a member longer than 10 years, how about longer than 20 years? Longer than 20 years, keep on standing. And if you're in the back, keep your hand up. Okay, we did not know that there was going to be this many people.
We all get $1,000?
How about 30 years? Longer than 30 years, keep on standing. Wow, look at that. Thank you guys so much. Dale always has preached that members keep members, so thank you guys all for being a part of Crossroads for so many years. So back in, 30 years ago, there was a lot going on in the world, and Paula, who is our marketing director at Crossroads, she has prepared some fun facts of 1986.
Okay, I wasn't 7 in 1986, but so Ronald Reagan was the President of the United States. George Bush was our Vice President. A gallon of regular gasoline was 93 cents. A dozen eggs was 87 cents. And a postage stamp was 22 cents. So that's changed a little. So some top stories in 1986, and I'm sorry they're not happy stories. In January is when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded 73 seconds after takeoff and killed all the astronauts aboard, as we all watched across the world live on television. The Internet email access protocol was being started, which leads to now today's email. The worst ever nuclear disaster happened. Chernobyl nuclear power station exploded, and so that we had radioactive material across much of Europe. And then also in the UK, they found out what became mad cow disease and killed people. And so they ended up with farming reform. So on with some fun things. Okay, so for the lighter side, let's talk about movies, TV shows, music, and sports in 1986. So movies, you ready? I feel the need for speed. Thank you. So yes, Top Gun was the #1 money-making movie of 1986, followed by Crocodile Dundee, and then Platoon. So some other movies, I don't know if you guys remember The Karate Kid, of course, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was a fun one. So some most popular TV shows, Family Ties, and then the other one, Crossroads, has often been kind of referred to as this. It's a place you go where everybody knows your name. So Cheers was also a very top TV show of 1986. The song of the year and album of the year actually was We Are the World by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie. You guys remember that? Other top songs, That's What Friends Are For by Dionne Warwick. Sledgehammer, do you guys remember that? Peter Gabriel. And the Walk Like an Egyptian. I wore my Egyptian shoes for you. From the Bangles. And Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer. So on the sports front, the Chicago Bears, the famous '85 Chicago Bears, won the Super Bowl in 1986, defeating
The worst team ever.
the New England Patriots, 46-10. The New York Mets won the World Series, defeating the Boston Red Sox. So the 1980s would not be complete if we didn't talk about the fashion. So 1986 fashion fitness trends. Consider yourself walking into the club, and this is maybe what you might have seen. So for the men, short shorts, oh my. And Dale, well, I don't know where you are. We're getting rid of those short shorts. Also tank tops, muscle shirts, the shirts with the sleeves cut out, and of course the calf-high socks. For the women, we have to start and mention the hair, the big hair. The hair was huge. Headbands, nylons, the leotards with the little belts, leg warmers, and the high-top tennis shoes with the Velcro around the top. I was a fashion major. Yes, I had the Velcro tennis shoes. So going into some Crossroads things, being the marketing director now, I can't even imagine doing my job back in 1986, doing it what we do now. I get over 50 emails a day. I make appointments on my calendar, on my computer. Words and tasks like digital media, scanning, faxing, mass email, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, Instagram. None of those were even part of the days back then, let alone in our workplace. The communication on how we communicate with our members has really changed. It's gone from letters and phone calls to emails and texts. In 1986, we didn't even do emails. And of course, we didn't text because we didn't have cell phones. But the Crossroads staff, just as they are today, were amazing in answering the phone professionally and taking messages. They were really good at taking messages and writing everything down. If you guys remember the little pink while you were out notepads. So back in 1986, like Dale mentioned, Crossroads was 7,800 square feet here at the Airport Club. And today we are over 35,000 square feet. So along with that change, of course, comes the change in staff size. Most of the employees at Crossroads, of course, are part-time, from our nursery attendants to Group X instructors. They started with around 22. As of today, we have 162 employees. And I do have one last small little fun fact for you, and that is the number of employees that Crossroads currently has that were not even born in 1986. And that is 39 of them.
My wife was 1 year old in 1986, so hey, honey. So, like we were talking about before about the members, and one thing, or there's three things that have been pounded in our head relentlessly over the years that I've been general manager and at the downtown as the downtown manager, and the three things that have made us most successful. And those three things are: 1, member experience; 2, member experience; and Pat, what is the third one?
Member experience.
See, told you so. So that, and Dale has preached that over and over and over again, and it's true. You guys have a great experience, you're going to keep on coming back. So, you know, as the general manager here, I don't know what the trends are going to be in the next 10 years, but what I do know is that in the next 2, 5, 7 years, as long as we maintain our trust and keep nurturing our relationships with our members, we will have another 10, 20, 30 years. And the world is definitely going to change, and I guarantee you Crossroads is going to change with it. So I'd like to take a moment too to really thank our staff. I think you guys are all in agreement that one of the major reasons that you stay a member here at Crossroads is because of our staff. And we do have an amazing staff, so if you work at Crossroads, whether it's one day or the whole 30 years, will you stand or raise your hand? And Lisa, John Parker, thank you guys so much. You guys are the people that wake me up in the morning. You're also the people that keep me up at night. And I really do care so much for each and every one of you, and it is such a fun work environment working here at Crossroads, to be around such a positive environment, and it's like a reality show, for real. So thank you, staff, for being so passionate and caring, for helping and doing that so greatly with all of our members.
Change, I hate change. And I know it's a necessary evil, and I know that we've got to keep reinvesting, redefining, rediscovering who we are. Along with that, keeping our core values. To our staff, I only have one thing to say to you. I am so, so proud of you. I love every single one of you. I love your passion. I love the love that your genuineness and your caring. With Crossroads, you always envision how you want our members to be treated. And I cannot believe what a spectacular job that you do, all the thousands of interactions we have on a day-to-day basis, and what a fabulous job you do. So thank you. If you had any idea on how hard everybody works, you'd be shocked. So thank you.
We wanted to take a moment and say thank you to Dale and Paula and Cameron for providing us with such an amazing place to work. Obviously, we love each and every one of you, and we just wanted to say thank you and congratulations. It is an honor to work for you guys. We'll just go give this to Christian. Okay.
Thank you.
Like Dale said, we are one huge family here at Crossroads, and this kind of explains everything.
This was not on the agenda.
No, I kind of snuck it in.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This will not be one of the prizes. Thank you. Love you.